We spend our lives chasing things we were told would make us happy. Success, security, status. But history has a quiet way of revealing that most of what we know about the world is actually an illusion. Over thousands of years, civilizations have risen and turned to dust, leaving behind more than just stone ruins. They left behind a set of truths that were once common knowledge, truths that kept people grounded, resilient, and deeply connected to reality. But as our world grew louder, we simply forgot them. Today, we're going to look at 7 forgotten truths that will change how you see the world and your place in it. The first truth is that the world doesn't show you what it is. It shows you who you are. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Most of us believe our frustration is caused by a slow driver, a difficult boss, or a global crisis. But the truth is, these are just mirrors. When you are angry at the world simply reflects your internal state back to you. If you feel like everyone is out to get you, you will find evidence for it everywhere. If you believe the world is full of opportunity, your brain will tune into frequencies of possibility you couldn't hear before. The forgotten truth is that you cannot change the reflection without first changing the person standing in front of the mirror. We are the first generation in human history to believe that pain is an error. Ancient philosophy taught that struggle wasn't something to be avoided, but the very forge that created a human being. The forgotten truth here is that comfort is a slow poison for the soul. In biology, there is a concept called hormesis, where a small amount of stress makes an organism stronger. A tree that grows in a windless biodome will eventually collapse under its own weight because it never developed the stress wood needed to stay upright. By seeking a life of zero friction, we have accidentally made ourselves fragile. The ancients knew that the only way to find peace was to move toward the things that challenge us, not away from them. Walk through any museum and you'll see the artifacts of people who thought their world would last forever. The third truth is memento mori. Remember that you will die. To the modern ear, this sounds morbid. To the ancient mind, it was the ultimate tool for clarity. When you truly accept that everything you see, your home, your career, your body, and even this moment, is temporary, you stop sweating the small things. You stop holding on to grudges that don't matter. You stop waiting for the right time to live. The truth we've forgotten is that transience doesn't make life meaningless. It's what gives life its value. You don't enjoy a sunset despite the fact that it's ending. You enjoy it because it's ending. In a world that demands we have it all, we've forgotten that every yes is a hidden no. When you say yes to a project you don't care about, you are saying no to the time you could have spent with your family. When you say yes to the expectations of others, you are saying no to your own path. The great philosophers practiced the art of subtraction. They knew that a meaningful life isn't built by adding more, but by stripping away everything that isn't essential. The truth is that your life is defined more by what you reject than by what you consume. We spend a massive amount of emotional energy trying to control things that are fundamentally uncontrollable. The weather, the economy, what people think of us. The forgotten truth is that your power is binary. It exists only in your own choices and your own perspective. Everything else is outside the gate. When you stop trying to control the ocean and start focusing on how you steer your ship, the anxiety that defines modern life begins to evaporate. You realize that you don't need the world to be a certain way to be okay. You only need to be in command of yourself. We believe that getting what we want will make us happy. But human history shows that desire is a moving target. The 17th century philosopher Blaise Pascal observed that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. We chase the next promotion, the next car, or the next relationship because we are trying to fill a hole that can't be filled by external things. The forgotten truth is that happiness isn't the presence of desired things. It's the absence of the need for them. It's the realization that you already have the relics within you to be complete. The final truth is the most forgotten of all. You are not an island. Modern life is designed to make us feel isolated like individuals competing in a void. But ancient wisdom suggests we are more like waves in an ocean. A wave might feel like its own entity for a moment, but it is never separate from the water. When you realize that your well-being is tied to the well-being of the people around you and the world itself, the competitive mindset starts to feel small. You realize that helping another isn't a sacrifice, it's an act of self-care. These 7 truths weren't forgotten because they stopped being true. They were forgotten because they are difficult to live by. They require us to look in the mirror, to accept our mortality, and to take responsibility for our own minds. But for those willing to remember, these truths offer a kind of freedom that the modern world can't sell you. If you want to keep exploring the hidden lessons of history and psychology, subscribe and join us. One question to leave you with. Which of these truths do you find the hardest to accept? Let me know in the comments. Let's start the conversation.